Hear me out. Shoreline as a resurgence map.
Tarkov.
Because hear me out, it's got like the few POIs, kind of like resurgence maps do. You have Pier, you have the Sunken Village, you have the regular,
Resort,
yeah, you have Resort.
We are live, boys and girls. Welcome to the Dropshot, a Call of Duty podcast, episode number.
Oh yeah, what is this?
453.
Yeah, that's it.
Today we come to you with a heavy heart on this somber afternoon, episode 453.
Got it.
And before we start today's episode, we need to tell the story of our friend and what has transpired. And this is not a meme. This is real. So before that, I will say today what we're going to be doing is talking all about COD. We're going to be doing our first ever public Q&A, gaming and COD related questions only. So that's what is in store. And use the timestamps if you don't want to listen to our memorial service for our friend Lokap. Now, I've kind of already given the game away, but for those of you who've been listening for quite a while, you may know of our friend Lokap. So Lokap is his online name. His real name is Lewis Capel. So he just made his internet name Lokap. And I met him playing Star Wars The Old Republic, an MMO. So I have known him for probably 10 years, maybe 12, because that game launched in 2011. Probably. So I've known him for a long time on the internet, and there have been, you know, for that time, I wasn't like in constant contact with him all of those years, but for a lot of them I was, including up until now. Like Lokap is in our Fire group chat, and he would play COD with us sometimes. He would play Tarkov with us all the time. And then we would just like chat and, you know, be talking like every day. And in fact, we were planning a little friend vacation. So me, Tanner, Gabriel, Saul Perez, Covina, California, Lyman Avenue, homeless, unemployed, Michael. And then we were going to meet up with some of our internet friends. So like Jake, we invited, what's it called? Lag Show, Cope Cowboy, and Lokap. So like we were planning on meeting up with him. And he was going to do it. He was like, yeah, I have PTO. Just tell me when the dates are ironed out and I'll get the days off. So we were like going to meet up with him in real life. They're like pretty close internet friends. So anyway, yesterday, Tanner and I were recording a Patreon episode for our Damascus patrons, a behind the scenes episode. And I'm just going to share with you guys a little snippet of that episode now that you know who Lokap is. So I'm going to just play this, and I want you guys to listen. We recorded this yesterday afternoon.
I don't know what it is, too. It's just, it's not hitting the same, and I can see myself just being done with it already in like 2 weeks. I don't really know what it is, but it's just...
He's talking about Escape from Tarkov, by the way. There was just a wipe, so everyone who plays Tarkov gets very excited and starts playing.
Something isn't hitting the same this wipe. Nothing feels as in... I'm not really sure what it is. I don't know.
I think it's because none of your fucking friends are playing it. Like back.
I mean, these are the same people I played with last wipe and basically the wipe before. I think. Wait, I'm trying to think when I played with Lokap a lot. If that was this last wipe, I think it was. I think Lokap and I ran a lot of duos early last wipe, but I guess he's dead or something. I haven't heard from him.
Died, yeah.
I haven't heard from him in so long.
Yeah.
He's in the group chat. I haven't seen him online. He might have just like, yeah. Yeah, what is his name?
Well, he did buy a motorcycle, so yeah, maybe he's in a medically induced coma right now because he fucking careened into a light post.
Yeah, what is his name in our Discord even? I can't even find him in our Discord.
You can just type Lokap, it'll show up. That's pretty much it. So Tanner tries to find him in Discord, and then we're like, yeah, I don't know where he's been. So after that episode, we record it, whatever. Tanner starts rendering it. I go eat dinner, and then I get a message from Tanner because after that episode, Tanner did a little sleuthing, and on a whim, he was like, you know what? Let me look this up. So we know where he lives, by the way, Yuma, Arizona. So you looked it up. Did you think there was like an actual possibility that?
Well,
like, why'd you look it up?
Well, when we were in that episode, I think before you ended the clip there, I think I mentioned something about how he hadn't typed in the group chat since July 2nd. And he didn't type every single day like the rest of us do. He would go 2 days, 4 days without typing. But so I looked at that and I'm like, that's weird. He hasn't typed since July 2nd. And then I looked back kind of, I just like scrolled through like the first page. I'm like, yeah, he would at least type something like every single week, or he would like react to things. He would always say something.
Was coming out.
Yeah. So he would always say things. So then I was like, I had also DM'd him when we were recording that episode. I was like, are we running duos this wipe or what? Like, are you going to play this wipe? And so, yeah. So then you actually got me thinking, because I was like, dude, he did buy a motorcycle and they're extremely fucking dangerous. And I know where he lives. So I literally just Googled Yuma, Arizona motorcycle accident. Literally the first thing that will come up is a news article from July 4th. Yep. And it said motorcycle accident, motorcyclist dies, whatever. So I look at it
33-year-old man.
And it says 33-year-old man. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm pretty damn sure Lokap was our age. She was like 32, 33. So then I was like thinking about it. Then I went to work and I was like thinking about it all day. I was like, damn. I was like, that's like weird, man. And then I went back and I read the article again, and I saw that it said he was riding an Indian Scout motorcycle. And I'm like, I don't know what motorcycle he had. And then I went in the group chat and I saw that he had sent a picture of the bike he was going to buy, a second bike, which I think he ended up buying. And that was it was more of a street bike. I don't know. But so then I was like, I was like, I swear he owned an Indian. So then I was looking back in the group chat, and then I randomly stumbled upon, yeah. So then I originally, I ended up stumbling upon a picture that he had sent us, and I was like, oh shit. And I see the picture of the bike and I click on it and I zoom in and it says Indian motorcycle. And I'm like, motherfucker. I was like, this is weird. This has to be too many coincidences. There's no way. So then we were having our hangout last night. So I wanted to explain to them what I found before that. I'm like, you guys get in voice now. Drop what you're doing. This is a red alert. Get in Discord now. I was like, I'm dead serious. I have something crazy that might be true. Get in Discord. So then you, Cope, and Lag hopped in. Jake, of course, ignored us. Because he doesn't care about Lokap or anybody, I guess. He doesn't care about our feelings. Nobody only cares about himself. So then we all hop in, and I lay out the evidence, and you guys are yeah.
Yeah, so already from that, I was like, dude, what are the odds that a guy that we haven't heard from, which is unusual in a very long time, who is the exact same age, because I know Lokap better than everyone else does, because I knew him from SWTOR and shit, too. I knew he was actually 33. That's his actual age. We learned that was the motorcycle. We knew that was the city, and we haven't heard from him since before the 4th of July. Okay, Kierkegaard.
Classic.
I've got it.
So, I wish it was your dog on that motorcycle, not Lokap.
I also wish that, yeah. So anyway, so already I was like, dude, I'm pretty sure this was him. Like, this is too many coincidences. But I'm a part of like a couple Facebook groups that for SWTOR, the game we used to play. So I post in there, I'm like, dude, does anyone know if Lokap fucking died? Like, this is crazy. So no one knew. So then I messaged his ex-girlfriend, because she also played SWTOR. And I was like, hey, have you heard from Lokap? Did he die? Like, I know this is random. And she was like, oh, I don't know, but that's crazy. I messaged him like a month ago and he never even opened it, which is unusual. So I was like, okay, this is not looking good. So then I called the police department, because it said on the article to call the police department. And I was like, hey, was it Lewis Capel? And they were like, oh, we can't like tell you, but if you request records, we'll send them to you. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So anyway, then Benji, friend of the pod, the ODB head mod, was like, oh, check out these comments for this article. Basically the same article was posted on Facebook. In the comments, some girl was like, oh, I knew him. He was a friend of mine. This is so sad. So I messaged her and I was like, hey, was your friend's name Lewis Capel? We think this is like our internet buddy, but we are hoping it's not. And then she was like, unfortunately, yes, it was. And then she also sent a picture of the little flyer they had made for his like memorial or funeral or whatever with his name. And I was like, holy shit, Lokap is dead.
Yeah.
And we called it, including how he died, which was the fucking motorcycle.
Yep.
And the last time I talked to him, I don't know if this was actually the last time or if it was soon before he died, but I very distinctly remember being in voice with him when he was talking about buying another bike. And I was like, dude, don't buy a motorcycle. It's so dumb. It's so dangerous. You're going to die. Like, get a cocaine habit instead, like a normal 30-year-old. Like if you want your kicks, you don't need to be riding a motorcycle. That's insane. And he was like, he called me a pussy or whatever.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, I'm like, well,
probably.
Who won now? But anyways, I think that was the actual last conversation I had with him was like, dude, don't buy a bike. And then he fucking died.
Yeah.
So that's just insane. So I was the one that broke the news to all of his other internet friends, like the SWTOR groups. No one knew for sure. So once I had found out for sure, I told them, I was like, yep, this was Lokap. Sorry, guys. So like a bunch of people that I have not talked to in years from like SWTOR are like, dude, that's crazy. Because I have we both had a bunch of people we played SWTOR with. And then like one of the guys had met him in real life, and he's a mutual friend of ours, Backstreet. Shout out to Noah. I told him, and I was like, dude, this is crazy. And then I messaged his ex-girlfriend, and I was like, so unfortunately, yep, it was him. Sorry. And she's like, dude, that's so sad. This is crazy. So, yeah, today we are sad, actually. This is pretty crazy because we talk to that guy all the time. Like,
he was in our group chat of what, 8 people that are in it? Yeah.
He was like a regular, member. He's been, by the way, he's been a guest on this podcast. If you guys want to see what he looks like, very early on, Tanner was like busy. So I had Lokap on when he was playing Warzone, and he was, on the show. You guys would see him post in Discord sometimes. We talked about him all the time. And, I mean, he's dead.
Yeah.
It's just insane. It's a crazy story. It's really sad. And I'm not like super broken up about it or whatever. I am sad. It sucks. I am going to miss him genuinely.
Yeah.
But,
he's a funny guy, really funny guy.
He's funny, cool guy. And we were going to meet up with him. Like, he was going to come to our next, if we ever figured it out and got it together, he was going to be there for our next little like friend vacation. So he's going to be me, Tanner, all of our real life friends, our other internet friends. So we have a heavy heart today, and we dedicate this podcast episode to Lokap, just like I dedicated many games of Rebirth Resurgence ranked to Lokap.
Okay.
And after every win,
they lost 500 SR today.
No, we gained 300 SR because Lokap was smiling down on us.
Well, he wasn't.
He was smiling up at us from hell because he did go to hell.
He was calling you slurs for playing Warzone, if anything.
He was calling me. Yes, he was. But anyways, wherever he was, he blessed us, and we gained 300 SR. And those games were for Lokap. And this podcast episode likewise is for Lokap. And all of the proceeds that we get from today's stream will go to the Dropshot Grieving and Mourning Fund.
Yeah.
Which is very important. And
it's important for us. Yeah, very important.
It's very important for us.
That's what he would want too.
Lokap would want. It's absolutely what he would hate.
He'd want you guys to give us money. Yeah, for sure.
He'd be so mad. He'd be like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, really sad. Although he did team kill me in Tarkov like a year ago because I went AFK in a bush to go get my food. I come back, it says killed by Hamas bombers. That was his name in Tarkov, by the way. And I said, Lokap, what the fuck, man? And he goes, oh, that's on you. It wasn't on me, and karma's a bitch, buddy. So keep that and suck on it, man.
Oh, no.
So did he deserve it for team killing me in Tarkov? Perhaps.
Absolutely,
we can quibble
he
about
did,
that. But whether or not he deserved it, which he probably did for team killing me in Tarkov, we are still sad nonetheless. So This episode dedicated to Lokap. F's in the chat, please. F's in the
chat,
comment section. Give us a super chat. Once again, the Dropshot Grieving and Memorial Fund does need your support. It is, but on a very serious note, it's crazy. I'm still like, I don't know. It's so weird.
I know.
Because we knew him quite well.
That's what I was telling Sierra last night. I was like, it's not like we knew each other in person, but like, I feel like a lot of people, like, unless you game a lot and have met people online, like they're literally just like, they're just one of your friends. Like if we met him in real life and we were hanging out with Gabe and Ben, like it would just be normal. You know, it would just like, because we know him so well.
Yeah. Yeah, actually. So it's really sad. And on that note, if you guys would like to join us, we will be taking a drink for Lokap and we will be pouring one out. So Tanner got a glass, I guess. I didn't, but you're not pouring one out for him.
I'm not gonna pour this out, man. Come on.
Yeah. All right. So this is to Lokap. Cheers, buddy.
Terrible survival rate.
Ugh. Oh yeah. That's for you, man. I won't be pouring one out for you either. You shouldn't have team killed me. But I did take a swig for you. So there you go. And yeah, I don't know. Nothing else to really say about it, I guess.
Not really.
I just figured we should share that because because
we've mentioned Lokap a lot of times on the pod, just in passing and Patreon episodes, just mentioned his name. And like you said, he's been a guest. I think I found the episode last night during our hangout for our patrons. I think it just searched.
You linked it. That's how that's how I know.
I think if you just search the Dropshot podcast Lokap, it comes up because you put his name in the description or something, and it comes up. So yeah, I was in I remember I was in Big Sur, and I remember even coming in for like the last 20 minutes of one of the pods when you guys were yapping on there, and I remember sitting out on the balcony in Big Sur while he was doing that episode for me.
Yeah, it's just so crazy, dude. I can't believe you looked it up, by the way. Yeah. If you hadn't, who knows how long. I think eventually we would have figured it out. Well, because he wouldn't just like disappear like that. So if it had been a year and I like added him and I was like, yo, what's up? Or I would have went in the Facebook group. Someone would have called him and figured it out eventually. But because I'd also looked it up.
I'd also added him in the group chat like probably 2 weeks ago or something. So I was gonna be like, "Are you gonna play Tarkov this wipe?" Like that was like before it was coming, or I had mentioned something like about the update, and he just like ignored me. I'm like, "Cool, okay, man."
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. It's just very rude.
Because he would like read everything, but not always yap. Are you?
Yeah. Yeah. He would have definitely. He always like replied. He would have replied.
Yeah.
But I'm genuinely a little mad. Yeah. I liked Lokap, dude. We would, and like, you know, like with friend groups, you have things in common with different things in common with different people. Lokap is the only one God damn it, you son of a bitch, who shared my love of like card games, RPGs.
Oh yeah, stuff. All those super nerd games. Yeah, he was into all that stuff.
Super nerd games. Yep.
He was just a gamer in general. He played all of them.
He was good at all of them too, by the way. He was like very good at FPS, very good at like MMOs and stuff too. Talented guy, smart guy, dead guy.
Yeah. So
real
I am looking for a new Tarkov duo. You must have at least a 65% survival rate, at least a 10 KD. Hit my line. I am looking for a replacement. Thank you.
Hit his line, yeah. And by the way, Chris says maybe reach out to his family. I'm sure he left you something in his will. That is a good point. He had recently bought a demon of a PC, including a 4090. And it's not an Intel CPU, by the way. He got an AMD CPU, so there's no microcode issues with it. So I am in the process of drafting a letter to his father, saying, hey, sorry for your loss, but what Lokap really would have wanted is for you to ship me his PC.
Yeah.
At no cost to me, at your expense. He would have wanted that. So yeah. I'll update you guys next week on how that's going.
Yeah.
Once we receive the PC. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, F's in the chat for Lokap. Really sad.
F's in the chat.
But with that, life goes on. And also his fault for riding a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Retard. Yeah. I told him not
Stop
to.
riding motorcycles.
We gotta stop.
If you're if you're listening to this and you're like married or you have children and you ride a motorcycle, you're going to die and you're going to ruin your children's future and life and also your spouse's life. So maybe just stop. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Just get a fast car if anything. You know, they're a little bit safer at least. Maybe if you run into a wall at 100 miles an hour, you might survive. You'll just be a vegetable for the rest of your life, but you know.
Yeah.
At least you'll be there technically.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just crazy. And by the way, in the article, what happened evidently was they wouldn't release his name, which is weird, but the motorcyclist, Lokap, turned in front of a Chevy Silverado. So I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means he turned right and he thought he could make it and didn't, or if he was like making a left and then some guy ran a red light. But this was at 10:30 at night on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
So we've doubled down on being an idiot because we're not only riding a motorcycle, we're doing it on when everyone's
why is he riding? Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Why is he riding a motorcycle on the evening of 4th of July? That's crazy. I remember growing up, like my mom would always just say, like, don't drive at night on the 4th of July. Like if you don't have to, like it's dangerous. Like it's a dangerous evening to drive, and bro's riding a motorcycle. I've obtained it. Yeah. Yep.
So he died. I don't know. I hope he didn't suffer because
it does not really sound like it. It says he was transported to the hospital and pronounced dead. So
he probably didn't. Yeah. He was probably immediately unconscious and then you bleed out.
Probably just snapped his neck or something.
Oof.
Yeah.
God, that's
the way it was worded. It kind of sounded like it was like he turned in front of the vehicle. Yeah. Because it would have been worded as like this vehicle rammed into him.
It's kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
it's a triple his fault now.
Yeah, it's really his fault.
Maybe he was drunk.
He could have been.
That would be insane. Yeah. And it's not like him. I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. But anyway, yeah. F's in the chat for Lokap. Figured we would share that with you all. So, however, with that said, as I said, life goes on. Life is for the living, as they say. And now
what they say?
We will get to. That's what my dad says. I think it's a saying.
It's a saying in 1940. Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, he is old as shit. So, yeah, let's move on and let's get to today's episode, which is gaming and COD questions. So normally, what we would do on the after a mid-season update is talk about our first impressions of that update, but not enough changed for that to be an episode. And then I was also thinking maybe what we would do today is have the first half of the program be first impressions. They would be sparse and then get into the Q&A. But Lokap ruined that for us. Thanks again. Karma's a bitch. So we don't have time to do that now, or I'd rather not do that now since we've already taken this much time talking about it. So we're just going to get right into the questions. My first impressions are the weapon balance is better. The SMG meta is quite good. STG is still the best option on Rebirth, but it's not overpowered anymore, so that's really good. And then on Big Map, the Polemyot is absolutely giga insane and genuinely overpowered, especially with the Quartermaster Suppressor now. It doesn't move. You don't have to run a mag attachment. You have 100 rounds in a box, and it doesn't move at all, and it has insane damage and damage range. It's really, really good. And again, with the Quartermaster Suppressor now, it is trivially easy to control the recoil of it. Non-conversion kit, by the way. So if you play Big Map, use that gun for sure. STG would still be good, but you're gonna suffer a lot at long range, and you're gonna get completely melted by the Polemyot. But yeah, for like Rebirth and Resurgence generally, it's too slow, obviously. STG primary, and then secondary, you have a couple options. In my opinion, BP50 conversion kit is overall the best, but I would say the Super E is still quite competitive. Horus conversion kit, quite competitive. Striker, quite competitive. And then maybe even the static if you're on roller. So those are our first impressions. And with that, let's get into the Q and also A. So, Tanner, I think you had found something, right? You didn't pin it,
let's
though.
see. Well, it was just right below the pin. That's why. Okay, it was
Steel?
from Steel, yeah. Will there ever be a COD killer, and if so, what studio or existing franchise would come close or succeed?
Yeah. So, will there ever be a COD killer? If there is, I mean, eventually, yes. Eventually, a video game doesn't just last forever. So, yeah, eventually COD will die. But will it be killed by some outside force? I don't think so. I think if there ever would be, when COD dies, it'll be by its own hands. So, Microsoft will just decide to like focus less and less on it, and then it'll fall off, or they'll just scrap it completely for some new IP or something. Or whatever. But it's not like they're going to continue making Call of Duty games as they have been with all the resources they pour into it. And then some other game is just going to completely come and like piss on it. That's not happening. No shot. So if COD will die eventually, who knows when, not soon, but it will be by the publisher or developer's own hands.
Yeah.
And then, like, as far as competitors, what studio or existing franchise would come close or succeed to? Again, I don't think any franchise will kill COD, but I think take its place or compete. I mean, Battlefield could if they simply fired DICE and got a new developer, because Electronic Arts has deep pockets like Activision does. Or Microsoft now, I guess. Sort of the same thing. But I don't know if they're as deep as, Activision, but they are quite deep. They have a lot of money at EA. So like maybe they could. But besides that, I don't see another like, I mean, a lot of publishers have the resources to do it if they wanted to, but that feasibly would. I can only really think of EA / the Battlefield series, but I find that wildly unlikely, frankly. They're not even really trying to compete with COD.
Yeah,
it's a different style of game.
Yeah, it's cute to like talk about games that will kill COD, but realistically, the franchise is just way too established at this point. That there will always be people that will play this game. So, I mean, we're going on like 20 years now, basically, of COD games, and they're basically probably about more successful than ever. So I think if anything, what would happen is it would be like when we move past normal video games, like say in 15 years, VR is the standard type of video game. If they just refuse to adapt or move on to that, then the game just dies off, or they have to change something completely and develop a Call of Duty VR or something, and people don't like that. I don't know. That's the only thing I can honestly really see, because all these games always come out. Games just die fast now. It's very weird. And I don't really know what it is. I kind of wonder if it's just there are so many more games being made now, so you always just think, always just think like, oh, these games are all dying, but it's so many publishers make video games out of nowhere now. And it used to just be, back when we were like middle school into high school, the only games being made really were the big AAA titles where you can go to GameStop and buy a physical copy. There wasn't a whole lot of, other studios, it seemed like, at least not that I really knew about. So, but yeah, games just, they come and go now. So COD keeps sticking through all of it, no matter what.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's like gaming is so much more casual now, and it's so much more saturated that there is a huge percentage of like gamers who only play the biggest AAA slop games that exist. Think of like
a lot of our listeners, probably, because a lot of them are more.
Yeah, they only play like Call of Duty, Fortnite, like Madden, whatever, like just these giant games by giant publishers. So that even like if a smaller developer, like a AA studio even, let alone single A, I don't know how the ranking works, whatever, comes out with like a really cool game that's really interesting. I've had this happen to me. I wish I could think of an example, but I have been in a situation where I find a game, I really love it, it's really cool, and it's a multiplayer game, but so few other people play it that I stop playing it because there isn't enough competition or money. And it's like, man, I wish this were more popular, because if it were, you know, a ranked mode would like work, and also they would be getting more money to like continue developing it or whatever. But they just can't get on people's radar because they're too small. They don't have that advertising budget. They don't have the name recognition from being like grandfathered in or whatever. So they just get left behind. So it's not even necessarily only a question of making a superior product to Call of Duty. As we learned with X-Defiant, for example, you could argue that X-Defiant's 6v6 respawn multiplayer is just fundamentally better than Call of Duty's. You might even be correct about that, but doesn't matter because, I mean, number one, this is old news. That's the main problem. But also, you know, it doesn't have that appeal that these big established games have. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't see it happening. And I think like wishing for that is crazy. It's not coming anytime soon. So,
yep.
Anyway, let's move on here. Could answer this one from Lemon Frames. I'd have to think about it. If you had a week in Activision offices, what are the main things you'd be looking to ask or find out? Where is Joe Seacott's office? That would be my first question.
Yeah. Blow up that
for
part of the
reasons
building.
You guys can deduce. Yeah. Do some wet work.
I would be interested in like the server things, like why are why are there so many more server issues now than we ever had with a higher player count in Warzone 1? Like what's the deal with that? I'm very interested in learning about that. And also I would love to see like the insides of the anti-cheat, like how all that works, how it detects, how it obviously does not detect, how it bans, all of that. That'd be very interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
And of course how that could be made better.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of problems, obviously, with the game right now and historically, but like, so like some of you were saying like SBMM, like I could find out about SBMM, but it wouldn't matter.
Basically know how it works, yeah.
Yeah, like we basically know how it works and it's not going anywhere. So even if I understood every intricacy of the system, it wouldn't like matter. So like I'd be more interested in things that I'm actually curious about because we know what SBMM does basically, and we also know why they're doing it and why they won't be changing how it works or like implementing it differently or whatever. So I would be looking to find out. Server issues is a good one. Why is there not big map ranked still? I'd be looking to find that out. What else?
I'd want to see how like the studios work together too. Like why does Infinity Ward obviously want something so much different than Sledgehammer? I think honestly spending a week at the Infinity Ward studio would actually be more interesting than Activision headquarters. Because I just want to know what these guys think. Like how did you design Modern Warfare 2? You accidentally created MW19 and Warzone 1, which so many players loved.
Yeah, I know.
And then you just create like the exact opposite. It's so weird with the same development team, basically. It's very, very weird.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a good one too. For sure. Man, what else am I curious about? Oh, I would go. Oh, this is number one, actually. I take back everything I said. First, look. Still Joe Seacott's office first. Second, though, is the audio engineer department. I would go there. I would bring a blowtorch and pliers and a rope, a durable rope, and I would say, and a gun. And I would say, I would put my gun to some guy's head and I would say, find me the guy in charge of audio in Warzone now.
Okay.
Or I am painting the floor with your brain matter.
Yeah.
I'm grieving. Allow me to do this.
True.
F's in the chat for Lokap. And then he would say, he would piss and shit his pants. I'd laugh at him. And then he would walk me to whoever the lead audio person. I would tie them to a chair and I would say, explain why I can't hear footsteps, but sometimes also I can. And audio was perfect once and you ruined it. What did you do? Change it back.
Yeah.
And don't ever do it again. And while we're at it, by the way, let's turn that precision airstrike volume down 90%.
Just grab his mouse and drag down the slider. Yeah, just drag down that slider.
So easy.
It's at 400%. Just drag it down to 80% or something. We're good.
You're right. I don't even need him. I'd say, hey, log into your computer That I don't need anything else from you because a monkey could do what needs to be done for audio, and I would just turn down the sliders and then turn up the footstep slider, and we're done. We're good.
Yeah.
And then I would blow his brains out. Yeah.
Jesus, man.
That's a joke, obviously. I'm joking. I'm not. So yeah, that would be number one for sure is the audio. Because no video game can figure out audio.
Nobody can do it, yeah. It's not possible. It's just not possible, yeah. Any FPS game I've ever played, it's not very good. COD, like, unironically had
for even a season. I'm
even
like, amazed
so. Was that
possible.
season 3? I think that was season 3 or season. It was either season 2 or 3. But whatever season that was, seriously, might have just been the best default footstep audio I've ever played. I've ever had in an FPS game. It was that good, and then now it just sucks again.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's really bad now. It's like worse than last season.
And don't give me your crap about, oh, well, there's a streak spam on Rebirth, blah, blah. We only played Big Map during then, and you could hear everything. Now you go play on Big Map with no sounds happening anywhere on the map, and you still can't hear footsteps like you could at that point.
Yeah.
So I've got it.
Very cringe. Yeah, very cringe. So anyway, let's see.
Pat asked, what is 1 HP of damage in real life? Oh, wait, that's damage. Never mind. I was going to make a joke about Lokap, but never mind. I was going to say Lokap had 1 HP laying there. Never mind.
Yeah, I think he got cat AMR'd to the head, actually. Just instantly downed. Yeah. No self-res. Playing solos.
That was spin botting, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. Anyways, let's see.
Oh, what about this one from Benji about a COD gun and 1 lethal to try in real life? Do we want to answer that?
Sure.
That's kind of COD related. It is COD related.
Sorta. You can choose 1 Call of Duty gun and 1 lethal to try IRL. What do you choose? And what kill streak would you like to witness and or control? Okay, sure. Good question. 1 COD gun to try in real life. So realistically, I'd want to pick a gun that you like can't get access to unless you're like a tier 1 operator, special forces or something. Because, like, you know, there are cool guns, you know, like a Deagle would be cool, but you could, I could go shoot a Deagle if I really wanted to. What I wouldn't be able to go shoot, even if I really wanted to, probably would be like a 50 cal sniper, for example. I don't think I could ever get my hands on that. Maybe I could, like, rent it or something. I don't know. But
you can.
Some kind of gun like that.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Interesting. Okay.
A Polemia would be kind of cool. The big old chunky LMG,
dude,
the big box mag.
Light machine gun.
That would be dope.
I think I would probably pick that, actually. That would be dope. And light machine guns IRL, from the little I know of it, are like $8,000. Like extremely expensive and not
probably at least, yeah.
Readily available. So that would be really cool. Yeah. Just a belt-fed LMG.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
That would be cool. So would
an MP7 in full auto would also be really fun.
That would be, yeah, because those are very hard to get. Those are very difficult to get. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see Landmark got one?
No.
Landmark got a real full auto MP set. It took him years to get it. Yeah.
That's really
maybe
cool.
a Bass B too. Boss B, which is just a Sig Spear. That would be a dope one.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I think a Polemia or the Bass B though, honestly, for me.
Yeah.
Lethal, just a frag. I just want to throw a frag grenade, maybe, I guess.
Throwing a frag grenade would be cool.
Yeah, frag or...
I'd like a thermite. I don't know if that's a real thing, but that would be cool. How would a thermite
it is a
work in
real thing,
life?
but I don't know. Does it actually, like... I feel like we looked this up one time. I think we did.
It's obviously unlit in your, like, rig, obviously. So, like...
You're not burning alive, yeah.
In game, you just pull it out and throw it, and it's like on fire. How does that work in real life?
Yeah,
Is it like a button?
I don't know.
Like a little fuse? Does it actually stick?
Proxmine would be cool too. I'd like to see a Proxmine in real life.
Yeah,
I would. Yeah, I would throw one at your feet.
I'd put it in Joe Seacott's office.
Got it. Okay.
So, anyways, yeah, that would be cool. What other lethal? No, I'm probably going with a thermite or a Semtex. I don't know if those are real. That seems fake. Because how does it not stick to your hand?
It's a sticky grenade.
To a wall? Yeah, is that real?
I mean, there's been
like
makeshifts. There have been makeshift sticky grenades always. Like, watch Saving Private Ryan. He makes a makeshift sticky grenade.
Like just so like one hemisphere is sticky.
I don't know
And then the
how it
one
works.
you
I
throw
think they
from is
hold it
not?
from somewhere else and then they throw it on. I'm not really sure.
That would be cool too.
Put some double-sided mounting tape on it. Pretty simple. Just get a
But
frag
there
and throw
are,
a bunch of
like-
tape on it, dude.
Well, the reason I ask is because there are fake things in COD. Like stun grenade is not a real thing that exists. There's no such thing as a stun grenade. A stun grenade and a flash grenade in COD are the same thing in real life. It's basically just a flash grenade. You throw it, it explodes, it's really bright, and it's really loud. So they're like a flash and a stun IRL are like the same thing. And by the way, if you think about that for a moment, you would realize that's obviously true. Because a stun grenade, it's like something explodes and you like move slow for like what for like 3 seconds. It's like obviously not real. So that's why I bring that up. But
in real life, it's just one thing, which is a concussion grenade, known as stun grenades or flashbangs. Yeah, it causes temporary blindness, loss of hearing, loss of balance, sense of panic, burns, psychological trauma. Yeah, true.
Jeez. Yeah.
For kill streak, I want to be the gunner in an Apache helicopter. That would be, if you could do anything in the military, by the way, being in an Apache helicopter would go crazy. Just being on that little screen,
bonkers,
however high they are in the air, however far away, with that little monitor looking at some guy on thermal calling in Hellfire missiles, firing a big, massive cannon. That would go crazy. I would love to do that. Love to just destroy villages with that.
Full of guilty people who deserve it.
For sure guilty, Americans do not kill innocent civilians in other countries.
It's never happened once. So that would be cool. Shout out Vietnam. What's that village called? Oh man, this is like a famous story where an American unit just did every war crime there is to a village. It's really popular, and you've all heard the name.
My La?
God. Yeah.
There's the My La massacre.
Yeah.
It was a war crime committed by the United States. Well, that's fake, of course, so I'll be reporting that. Involving the mass murder of unarmed civilians of My La village.
Yeah.
At least 347 up to 504, almost all men, almost all women, children, and elderly men were murdered by U.S. soldiers. Dude, isn't it crazy how, like, they don't teach us this stuff in school growing up? You learn about the Vietnam War. They don't ever say, hey, by the way, our government and military massacre innocent civilians in other countries every month, constantly, all the time, always. That is wild. 500 civilians.
That's a lot, dude. Yeah.
Some of the women were gang raped.
Like,
oh my God,
people.
Dude.
It wasn't like one guy or like 3 guys.
It was an entire
rogue.
division. It lists what division it was, whatever army division.
Yeah, it was the whole the whole squad.
Dude, Jesus Christ,
real
that
dark.
Is sad.
Which is of course a fake story. So, anyways,
we would
America's
never do
perfect.
That.
Yeah, we would never do that. But yeah, it's obviously Chopper Gunner. Yeah, I can't think of a cooler kill streak. Let's see.
AC-130 gunship would be dope too, but
that would be cool.
You're too far away.
Chopper gunner, because you're not looking through like thermals or some device.
Well, you are.
You get to see the carnage in front of your own eyeballs, just blood and guts, no filter. Of again totally guilty and not at all innocent people that definitely deserve it. Every single one. America. Okay, let's see.
Another question about COD Killer, which we basically already answered. Thanks, neighbor, for using a weed trimmer right now. It's kind of hard because people don't ask gaming or COD related questions, man.
Yeah, we changed the rules fairly recently, so to be fair. This is a good question from Spidey, actually. I like this. What is an aspect of gaming you expect to be entirely obsolete within 20 years? For example, physical copies. Okay, your example, that's one probably, but that's not what I thought you were asking. There was a Neuralink guy, the first guy who got Neuralink installed, which is like the computer chip you put in your brain, was on Joe Rogan. And I didn't watch the whole episode, the guy's boring. But part of it that I did see is he was like, oh, by the way, when I'm playing like first person shooters on computer, Having Neuralink is literally just aimbot, because you think about where you want your reticle to be, and then you think about shooting, and you can't, obviously, you're never going to miss. So he's like, it's actually just like aimbot. Like, I can't play, I just get banned because the Neuralink is controlling the mouse. He's like a quadriplegic, and it's just way too accurate. So that kind of sucks. If that becomes like, not that everyone's going to get Neuralink installed, because right now it requires brain surgery. So, you know, that's an elective. But who knows, in 20 years, what kind of tech, you might be able to just like shave a patch of your hair and then put something sticky on it, and it functions the same way. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
So like maybe something like that would be totally obsolete aiming.
I would like to put a sticky grenade on the side of your head.
To be fair.
Yeah. True.
But anyway, don't say that, by the way. I just realized what you said. That's rude.
Aspect of gaming, yeah.
Yeah, physical copy is another one, I guess, in that vein.
That's what I'm wondering about, like VR too. Is VR going to become the norm, or is VR just going to die off soon?
I think people are too fat and also lazy for VR to ever be the norm.
It also just seems so clunky. That's a good point. Yeah, because all these. Yeah, think
I don't want VR.
Yeah, think like if you or I are 50 and we're fat and disgusting and we work at a steel mill like many of our patrons do. We just want to sit on the couch with an Xbox controller and do nothing, yell at our wife to bring us more beers, tell our kids to do their homework, complain when the food isn't warm enough that she made us.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, you're right. I don't want to be on VR. I just want to sit there like a disgusting slob like most of our Damascus patrons.
Yeah. I mean, after all, you've expended enough energy beating the shit out of your wife that day already. You want to also have to get up and like move around to play an FPS game? I sure don't. I want to be big chilling. So yeah, I don't think VR would take over, but AR maybe, like augmented reality.
Oh, so yeah.
You put on like the headset and maybe you still use a controller, but it's like, instead of computer monitors or TVs, it's like a fully immersive giga surrounding, including like over your ears. So you get like crazy audio and crazy 360-degree visual, including your peripherals. I could easily see that sooner than within 20 years, honestly, becoming the norm. Because already those headsets are not that expensive anymore. They're still not very good, although I think some of them actually are pretty good. But it would basically be a VR headset without having to actually move. Yeah. Like you put on a VR headset, but instead of having to move around and stuff, you also still use a controller. That would be really cool. And I could easily see that becoming the norm. Yeah. For sure. Because it would be a way better experience for way less material. Just think about like a computer monitor that's bigger than like well, maybe about the same amount of material, but still, it could become affordable enough that becomes the norm. And I would be really hyped about that. I think that'd be really cool.
What about consoles? A console is a computer. Maybe everything would just be a computer at that point, essentially. Yeah. Because, I mean, what's separating them at this point? I mean, stop making consoles. Just make cheaper PCs that are more, they're the same thing. Yeah. You just can do far less on console, and I don't know. It's, they could easily make it that way, obviously.
A console is like an iPhone. Like, okay, iPhones are to cell phones what consoles are to computers, I think. It's like a very restricted, brainless, even your grandma can figure it out, plug and play machine that you can get like better ones, but they're going to be more complicated. You can do more with it, but a lot of people don't want to do more with it. So they just get an iPhone. And it's like, oh, okay, I get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, that is a good question, though. That is a great question. Who knows? So, anyway, let's see. This is a good one from Steel. Is there a map from another game that would be a great Call of Duty, Warzone, or Resurgence map? Meaning another franchise. That's a really good question, actually. That's a great question. Wow. Can the boy think of one though?
Yeah, let's do a think here. Let's do a deep dive.
Oh man. So what other good games would be like contenders? So like Halo,
It could be anything, really, man. Battlefield,
Um,
anything.
Battlefield, yeah. Counter-Strike. Those are too small.
Yeah, I was gonna say any of the Counter-Strike maps would work well enough in COD, basically.
It's like, yeah, like Sixes maps. But
That's
like for
Sixes,
Warzone
yeah.
and Resurgence. I don't know. I think there are like areas of like FPS games I can think of that would be cool, like Warzone areas on a broader map, but like thinking of a whole like Resurgence map. So like there's a Halo 3 map I'm thinking of that I do not remember the name of. So I guess this doesn't matter, but that I think would be a cool Resurgence map.
What about, hear me out, Shoreline as a Resurgence map?
Tarkov.
Because hear me out, it's got like the few POIs, kind of like Resurgence maps do. You have Pier, you have the Sunken Village, you have the regular,
Resort,
yeah,
obviously.
you have Resort. They would need to build up some other areas a little bit more, so there's less open space, like, you know, where some, which they've already kind of done in Tarkov. Even just build those up a little bit more.
Enough elevation changes where you wouldn't need to do that. I don't think.
Yeah, a lot of hills. That's true. Even at weather, they changed a lot of that, and there's a lot of rocks and stuff. It's harder to get up there now.
That would be a dope.
Wouldn't that be kind of a little?
Map.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, dude,
Jesus.
that would be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shoreline's a great one. Yeah, a lot of Tarkov maps would probably be pretty good, actually. Shoreline would be great. What other Tarkov maps? Streets would be awful. Terrible.
Miserable,
the worst Warzone map ever.
Yeah.
Shoreline's a good one, though. Customs. Maybe customs? Could be awfully ratty in a lot of spots.
Yeah. I think you need some more elevation on it, which is why I was thinking Shoreline.
Yeah. Shoreline would be good. Woods for an actual BR map. Like a full-size BR map.
That reminds me of like a
Woods
PUBG
would be
map,
great.
kind of. Yeah, so I could see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Apex, maybe some of their maps. I'm not familiar enough with them.
Yeah, I don't know Apex.
But
Tilted
yeah.
Towers on Fortnite?
Oh, yeah, or Fortnite, yeah, I guess. Anyway.
Okay, let's see. God.
Still looking, guys. Sorry.
So yeah, sorry. I'm scrolling past the question that asks, "Would you sleep with your sister?" So just keep. That's what we're working with right now. Yeah, that's what
I do not have a sister, by the way. And also, what a stupid question. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Benji, you've discussed retiring or vaulting weapons in the past. What are your thoughts on making a weapon inaccessible unless you'd previously purchased or earned a blueprint on that weapon? For the sake of the question, assume old weapons are not OP like they are at the time of that question being asked. I regret reading the question. That's insane. That's an insane idea.
There might be a discussion
imagine,
there.
You find a ground loot static and your character's like, you hear that error message, like when you're trying to hit the refill ammo thing, but you're full. You're trying to pick it up. You're getting just roasted by TTV Moon, who is aimbotting you with an iron sight sidewinder from the top of prison 300 meters away. You're trying desperately to pick up the static so that you can maybe get inside and have a fighting chance. And then you die because you haven't got enough battle pass tokens yet. What are we thinking with that question?
Yeah,
I apologize for reading it.
About vaulting weapons, though. I mean, they need a, like, when BO6 integrates, MW2 weapons need to be vaulted. They just need to be. But I don't think they're going to, because they continue to change them all of the time, and I don't think they're planning on vaulting them. I feel like we would have heard some info about that. So that's going to be unfortunate, again, that there are just so many weapons to scroll through and crap like that. Not that it really matters that much, but it's just more... it makes the game feel fresh when I don't see all of those there, because I don't care about them, and I don't use any of them. I'm not using the Cronin Squall in August of 2024. You know, it's just not happening.
Or the KV inhibitor. Yeah, there are so many, or launchers at all. Yeah, it is really dumb. So they kind of already do like retire or vault weapons by just nerfing them and making them complete dog shit.
Yeah.
But then they still pollute the ground loot pool, and they pollute my menu also. So I would love if they did that on that note, but they're not going to. What I would like even better, honestly, is for like BO6 to launch. We don't only use BO6 guns in that game. And also, we don't need to have 12 full auto ARs that are basically the same. Let's like cut down on it and have every gun be unique. Or maybe 2 of the same archetype of gun, max. But like right now, how many like LMGs do we have that are slow, that do a lot of damage, that fire bullets from a box mag? All of them. Like they're all the same, except for like 1 or 2 that are somewhat different. We don't need this many LMGs in the game. Like in just MW3, we don't need this many LMGs, let alone MW2 and MW3. Like, would you be able to tell me right now the difference between the Rawl, the Seiken, and the Rap H? Because I wouldn't.
I mean, they're all LMGs.
They're all big, slow
they have
LMGs
different fire
that are
rates
full
and stuff,
auto,
kind of, but
with
they're all
different
suck.
fire rates. Yeah, but it's like, that's kind of it. Like, we don't need that many, dude. Like, maybe 2 big, bulky, full auto LMGs that are different in some way. But we don't need 6 of them that are basically the same. It's really dumb. So, anyway. But it's not the end of the world either. So, whatever. Let's see. What do you think this is from JKN. What is a map setting you think would be a fun BR or Resurgence map? I think you're asking like desert, snow, dusk, whatever, like that type beat. You know what setting I would really like? A bright, clear, cloudless, sunny, shining day.
Yeah, a little beautiful
day.
That's
the only one that I think would be fun, actually. And I'm dead serious. I don't want anything else. Maybe snow on the ground and it's also a bright, clear, sunny day. That would be cool.
I would like some snow, man. I really want COD to do some sort of snow BR map, honestly.
Yeah, that would be dope.
Love the vibe of it.
We barely had that. We had that for a while on Verdansk. They did like a weather change.
Yeah, some of the areas had snow, but
and then they were going to do it in Cold War. But it ended up just being the snow map that was for that game mode, whatever it was called.
So he's saying like a real life location. What's a real life location? That would be kind of cool. Alcatraz Island.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah,
that'd be really cool if they made that into a COD map for Resurgence.
Yeah. The
thing is, I feel like you could almost just pick anywhere. Well, for a good BR map, you know what would be dope?
What?
Any of the World War II settings, like out in the fields in like the Netherlands or something, with like the little, with like the pretty flowers and stuff, the tulips or whatever they have there. All of that would be a great little setting.
Yeah. Yeah. The Volga.
Amsterdam, cool. Water only though, no land.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think another island. Well,
Big Bear. Big Bear Lake. Big Bear Lake would be a great VR map.
Dude, that would be dope, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much any mountainous area like that. Think of your local ski resort mountain town. Probably a great setting for a BR map.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you got the lake in the middle, but it's not going to disrupt anything. You got the mountains. You got little downtown villages. You've got cabins. It's the perfect map.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dude, you know what I think would be a great Warzone map, even though it's a terrible Tarkov map? Lighthouse. I think that would be really fun in Warzone, actually.
Maybe.
Might be a little too narrow.
I think it's still too narrow.
I think it would be fun.
It's definitely too narrow, actually.
Narrow,
it would need to be. It's too narrow for Tarkov, and Tarkov's a way slower game.
Yeah.
But it would be a cool setting and design for a map. It just needs to be wider. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, probably. All right, so let's see. Let's see. Still looking, boys. Your internet did not die. And girl. This is interesting from Distortion. What FPS game has the best gunplay? And if it's Call of Duty, what's the next best one? That's a very good question, actually.
That is interesting, because I end up liking the gunplay in a lot of games, and they feel good for that specific game. PUBG, for example, back when I remember playing that, I always really liked the gunplay in PUBG, because the recoil was pretty difficult to control. It was satisfying. You really had to pull down on that mouse or that controller. That had good gunplay for that game. But a gunplay like that I don't want in a faster game like COD, really. But it was perfect for PUBG. Mid to late wipe gunplay in Tarkov when you have more built guns is very fun and very satisfying. Also because they're realistic, so that makes it better.
I like Tarkovs a lot, dude. The problem with Tarkov gunfights isn't really the gunplay. It's the shit servers and terrible audio and
aim punch. Screen blur when you're getting hit.
Maybe that. Yeah. You know what? I actually would say Tarkov, because Tarkov, the bullets actually do come out of your barrel. So you can point fire people if you're good enough from 40 meters away. Like reliably. Really good players do it all the time.
Yeah.
Wick is exactly who I was just going to say. There's a guy named Wait, I'm Cheating. Change it. Terrible name. But he's insanely good at Tarkov. He's a Tarkov streamer. And he is the best point fire Tarkov player I've ever seen by a lot. He will regularly point fire people or scavs, one tap to the head, and he doesn't even blink. Like, because if I had done it, I'd be like, clip it. Give me money. I'm like stopping what I'm doing. I'm remixing it. I'm posting it to YouTube Shorts mid-raid. But he does it, and it's just like, okay. He just moves on, like doesn't even think about it all the time. But you literally can't do that in most FPS games, because you have like a statistical distribution of where your hipfire bullets will go that is literally just purely RNG generated by a computer. That's why you have like attachments in Call of Duty, like hipfire spread. It'll be like big or small, and you will shoot your gun, and the computer, whatever, will choose where the bullet goes inside that distribution. It's like it's like an RPG mechanic almost. It's kind of weird and annoying. Whereas in Tarkov, you pull the trigger, whether you're ADS or not, it doesn't matter. Where your barrel is pointed is exactly where the bullet will go every time. That's really cool. In addition to all the other gunplay stuff that Tarkov has, that is really cool. It does seem like, and now that I've shot a P320X5 Legion from Sig Sauer, I am in fact an expert at guns.
Yeah.
It is quite realistic for an FPS game too. Like guns, well, the recoil now I think actually is fairly realistic. It used to be wildly unrealistic. It was way too much. But now I think even the recoil is like pretty realistic. What the attachments do is fairly realistic. How the optics work is very realistic. And like how you can get so like there's an area called dorms in Tarkov that is a dormitory. It's like a 3-story dormitory. So it's like narrow, tight hallway and small rooms. And you don't want to take like an RSAS to dorms because it's a long gun.
Yeah.
And you will regularly not be able to aim because your gun's too long. Whereas if you had like a P90, you're chilling. It's not too long. And you can like get real tight to people. And you can even barrel stuff people in Tarkov in a way that you can't do in COD, where if I have a P90 and Tanner has an RSAS and he's like whatever in the hallway trying to like look into my room, I could just run right in front of him and he'll like have to turn his gun or it'll be pointing past me while I'm just barrel stuff killing him.
Yeah.
That's really cool also. And that is not, it would not work like that in any other game that I know of. There probably are some, like Squad, maybe it works like that. I've never played it though. But of games I've played, I would say Tarkov.
Squad has
the best.
Miserable, really bad, also shit gunplay. They completely ruined it. So so the people that played Squad, it wasn't realistic enough for them. They didn't like how like bullets were accurate. So they've created this whole infantry overhaul, which in my opinion has completely ruined the game. Those players probably in general like it better, but you just need to go watch gunplay. Like some of these guns, if I'm not mistaken, you literally, it will not let you fire now unless you aim down sight. So you can't even hit fire. You can't just shoot a gun. The bullet spread is just insane, dude. And the idle sway when looking through optics and stuff. Think of the sniper that sways the most in COD. Triple that. That's how much sway there is in Squad. They just,
but they like force you to go prone, basically.
They purposely made it to slow down the game so that people weren't killing as quickly and as often to make firefights last longer. Because the time to kill is like 1 or 2 bullets. So they said that since guns were too accurate, and like you didn't get suppressed, that you would just too easily kill people, and they wanted those gunfights to last longer, which I understand for a game like that. But for me, not that I was playing it anymore anyways, but that just definitely puts the nail in the coffin. I will never be playing that game again.
And if it's supposed to be a like giga realism, like a milsim game actually, which is what it is trying to do, why would they do that? That does seem insane.
Yeah, so
because in real life,
it's crazy. And there's like an insane suppression effect too. So when people, so you can literally suppress people. You shoot bullets close to them, their entire screen turns just straight blur, and they can't see. And so then they have to suppress fire back without like ADSing really or looking. And then that makes, I think, your gun sway even more when you're suppressed. So then you really can't line up a shot. And it's all designed to make the gunfights basically be more drawn out. So terrible gunplay in that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tarkov's got good gunplay. MW19 and Warzone 1 had great gunplay in a lot of aspects.
It's the best part of that game, yeah.
By far the best part of that
COD,
game.
I think the best gunplay in any COD that I've ever played is MW19.
Yeah, like gun feeling. We're not talking about.
I hate that game.
We're not talking about like time to kill or anything. We're talking about the way guns function and feel. Probably the most satisfying they've ever felt in a COD multiplayer game. That's what was like so disappointing about that game. Is like that was literally I think the best ever in Call of Duty, and then everything else just sucked about the game.
Yeah. Like in MW19, there were some guns that had like no recoil, and there were some that had a ton of recoil. Haven't seen that in a long time. You know what I mean? Like you had the Kilo and you had the EM2. I guess that was a Cold War gun, but it was integrated into MW19 and Warzone 1. So, you know, and I'm sure there are the AS Val, there you go. You had the Kilo versus the AS Val. Those had like way different recoil, and they were both assault rifles. Like, can you say that about MW3 guns? Assault rifles with that big of a difference? MCW would be the low recoil one. What would be the high recoil one? Like a Val. I can't think of one. Maybe there is, but I don't think so. So I don't know. But the gunplay was just fantastic in MW19, yeah. But anyway, I like Tarkov's better. I like that realism aspect. So, but I also understand why they don't do it, because it's not that type of game. And with aim assist, having point firing be like realistic would be miserable.
Yeah,
you'd literally never miss bullets. So that would be bad,
dude.
Obviously.
Like
so anyway,
the gunplay of like a high ergo M4 in Tarkov, like a 60 ergo M4 with a hollow sight and like also a recoil build, but you have that ergo to it. Oh my god, one of the most satisfying guns you can shoot in a video game with a 60 round mag, that high fire rate,
really high fire rate,
pretty dang accurate. You can hip fire it well. Oh god, that's a great feeling gun.
Yeah, big M4 guy. Who made the M4A1 assault rifle, by the way?
The Americans. Colt did,
the
I think.
United States of America,
yeah.
Probably. I've never looked into it, but I'm assuming
probably
because it's a good gun that it was probably a red-blooded patriot American, yes. And it spilled the blood of many enemies of this country and only enemies of this country, and definitely not anyone innocent.
Not 504 innocent civilians in a village in Vietnam, no.
Yeah, definitely not. So,
that was the Russians.
Okay, let's see. Yes. L Russia. Okay, let's see.
Spidey asked a question about Prestige, but yes, Prestige is back, and I'm happy for it.
Bro has a crazy memory to edit this after the BO6 reveal.
Well, we're pretty recent, buddy. We're on 6.6 already. We're getting recent
there. Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right. So anyway,
that's editing.
You missed the traditional Prestige system. Okay.
Don't tell me to get my kicks there.
Route 66, man.
What's the worst way to die in Warzone? Any gunfight ever within 10 meters. Ow! Fucker.
Teddy!
Probably getting out of a Bertha and getting ran over by it and then killed that way, which happened many times in Warzone 1.
That does happen a lot. Yeah, back when we used vehicles, that was a concern. I think there are worse ways to die, because when that happens, it's at least funny. Unless you're really tilted, then it's not at all funny and it's really upsetting. That's fair. However, I think the worst way to die in Warzone is to someone you easily would have killed had you heard them, and also you definitely should have heard them, but also you didn't in fact hear them. I think that's probably the worst way to die in Warzone. I think that is the most frustrating thing, where it's like, there is nothing else I could have done there. It is literally the video game's fault that I died. That is probably or running into a room and there are 4 little buds in 4 different corners, not moving at all, with 800 claymores, and you just instantly die because they didn't make a single little peep. That's another bad way to die in Warzone. I don't know which is worse, but those are both really bad. Probably the first one though, because at least those guys aren't like, at least I don't know. Yeah, the first one's the game's fault, and that really bothers me. So, yeah. Anyway, let's see. This one from Process is good. With the smoke meta, why we don't have a thermal meta? Question mark. And barely anyone uses cold-blooded. Is it because all the thermals are dog shit? I've seen some people use it, but not even close to being meta. Good question. Because I'm practicing for ranked Warzone right now, getting iridescent. I'm getting close, by the way. I'm honing in on it. Were it not for that, when I play Urzikstan, I would be using thermals, and that's what I was doing. And there are quite a few people using thermals. But you're right, it's not meta at all. I would say on a map of Urzikstan, probably 10 to 20%, 10 to 15% are using thermals on their primaries. And the SZ Holotherm is the one you would want to use. However, it is, I think, starting to become more popular. Like Breadman is using thermals now. Iron is using thermals now. OP Marked is using thermals. And as you guys know, once a streamer starts doing something, so does everyone else. So I think they're going to continue to become more and more common. But the reason they haven't been meta the entire time is, as you said, because the thermals are dog shit, including the Holotherm. If there were an optic that had 1.0 zoom, just like the Jack Glassless, but was also a thermal, every single person would be using it for sure. But there isn't one. Like the least zoom thermal that is workable is the Holotherm, which is like a 2.2 zoom.
That's true. If there was essentially something that was exactly like the Jack Glassless or any holo sight that zoomed that amount, red dot, holo sight, whatever, and was thermal, every single person would be using that. For basically. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you're right, Process. It's just because the thermals are pretty dog shit. So. But like, dude, the Polemyot, speaking of which, I haven't tried it yet, but if you put a Holotherm on that, oh my God, I can't believe I haven't tried that yet. That would go bananas on Big Map. Oh, it would be so good, because that thing has no recoil anymore, like I was talking about. Oh, that would be so fun. It'd be so giga usable. Yeah, I gotta try that, man. All right, stay humble. I'm gonna go play Urzikstan. Psych.
Shut up.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's see. I'm gonna answer this. This is from Gunslinger. I'll be quick. This is for our K-Band players, obviously. What is the best gaming desk that everyone uses? Actually, this won't be for only K-Band players, because I'll start with a broader point. Don't buy anything gaming unless it's a mouse or keyboard. Or controller, obviously.
Or monitor.
But anything else, don't buy it. Don't buy a gaming monitor. Don't buy a gaming headset. Don't buy a gaming microphone. Don't buy a gaming chair. They all suck. They're bad. Get like a different thing. Gaming mousepad you'd probably want to, though, actually. But a lot of these like things that are marketed like gamer or gamer desk, there's another one. The best gaming desk is a large desk that is flat everywhere. That is the best gaming desk for keyboard and mouse. For controller, obviously, you don't use your desk, so it doesn't matter. But there you go. Get a big flat desk. NPR with a $10 super chat. Woo! Skipping the line. An absolute king, donating to the Dropshot Grieving and Mourning Fund, which is looking awful light, by the way. $9.99 total. All from NPR, asks, thank you, buddy. If MW2 and Warzone 2 was your Holocaust, which it was, please use other historical events to describe other CODs. I've got it. I can't, that question doesn't make sense, man. I don't know. I guess I'll try my best.
So MW2 and Warzone 2 was the Holocaust.
MW19/Warzone 1 was like the Italian Renaissance. And then we like entered a golden age, I guess, because it was like a new thing and like we discovered a lot, I guess.
What was the Miley massacre?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're like, there's nothing, I don't know.
We
like beyond that,
Miley
I can't.
massacre. The MW2 beta to the MW2 launch. The beta, the village was fine. There were no American soldiers. At the launch, the American soldiers came in and just massacred everybody like what Infinity Ward did to us.
Dude, yes.
Because the beta wasn't bad, and then they came in and they massacred all of us.
You could... B-hops were insane in the beta, and there was something else they changed that was a huge deal. The main one I remember is B-hops, though. Like, the B-hops went crazy in the beta for MW2.
The movement was way faster.
And I think just movement speed in general. And then without a peep, by the way, to this day, they never acknowledged that they did this. So maybe it's like the Armenian Holocaust, actually. Because the Armenian genocide, perpetrated by the state of Turkey. Much like that, in fact, this did happen. Turkey did commit a genocide on Armenians, or attempt to. There are still Armenians, so that's why I say attempt. They did kill a lot of them. But to this day, they've never acknowledged that they did that. So that would be, yes, great one. The Armenian genocide and is a good historical example for the beta to launch, because much like the state of Turkey, they never acknowledged that they like ruined the game from beta to launch. They never said anything about it. They just did it. They just did it, man. Did it and just put a Giga Chat emoji, and that's it.
They just ruined our life, basically.
Everyone whined about it. They didn't say shit. Ever.
Lost your life. Yeah. Pretty bad stuff, man.
Pretty crazy.
Shout out to Infinity Ward.
Yeah. Enemies of the pod, of course. Yeah. So. Yeah. Does Joe Seacott ride a motorcycle? I really hope he does. God, I hope he does.
You gotta try to find what path he takes to work. Rent an excursion for the day or something.
Yeah, well, I could do that. Yeah, get my cyclist murdering Mad Max.
Anyway, why don't you just call the guy that hit Lokap, see if you can find him, locate him, put a hit on somebody, you know?
Yeah, good question. Yeah. So anyway, let's see. I'll just ask this. I'll ask for feedback on this one. HG Wells says, I never started playing COD until 6 months ago, and the learning curve is steep. Have you guys ever thought about doing some basic training videos? For example, what is Warzone? What is an SMG? How does voice chat work, etc.? This might get a lot of views and bring in new listeners. Sort of. And we've sort of done episodes like that, but like way farther in the past. But not that basic. Would any of you be interested in something like that? Because I'd be down to do an episode with like some super basic like tips and tricks and things like that. We've done an episode like that, but it was more advanced. So it was like all about Warzone, but it assumed you knew what like plates were and like AR meant. You know what I mean?
We've done some basic tip episodes before, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think he's more saying like videos, like maybe like 10, 15-minute videos, like, you know, like an Iceman Isaac type video. The thing is, there are way too many. Resources. Yeah, there are tons of good resources for stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
like I'm sure Isaac is actually probably one of the better ones out there. He makes a lot of informative videos. If you're into that stuff, check him out.
By the way, I watched his video on like the short range meta, and it was pretty lacking. There were a lot of like really good guns, like fundamentally better guns that he just like didn't mention, unless I'm missing something. But like True Game Data also did a video on like the short range meta after Season 5 Reloaded, and it was quite good, comprehensive, made a lot of sense. But Isaac's was like, he just like didn't mention the BP50 conversion kit, for example, at all, I don't think, which is like one of the best, in my opinion, the best SMG right now. And he's like, this is absolutely the meta. It pissed me off.
What gun did he say to use?
I think he said go back to the Super E.
Really?
Which is fine, but like, how do you not mention the BP50?
He's talked about the BP50 a lot in the
too.
past, I know. So yeah, but yeah, it's weird he wouldn't mention it there.
Yeah, it was very weird. So anyway. Okay.
Jake had asked, do you prefer the backpack system or dedicated slots? Dedicated slots, which we're probably getting back, and we will find out in about 4 or 5 days, probably.
Yes. And we're there. Let's see. Gunslinger, what site or knowledge on what attachment for meta do you trust for guns? These days, none. I trust like True Game Data to give me reliable information on what attachments do. But in terms of trusting someone who wants to give me a gun build, I don't trust anyone. Because it's
yeah,
so
I don't like
now.
gun
Like
builds
Tanner's
anymore.
Talked about
It
a lot.
is, yeah. Like that's why I like the short range meta video you just talked about. I have not clicked on a meta discussion video like that since probably like season 1 or 2, when like maybe J God put one out like early on. I just don't watch them because I came to realize, yeah, I don't agree with like any of the attachments that they put on there. Like especially True Game Day. Right. He comes up with some weird ass builds, some really weird builds. That I have basically never liked, but he also like literally does not queue the game at all anymore, really. So I think he's primarily basing everything off stats. But to me, you just got to get in that firing range and get a feel for it yourself and just go through it that way. But I would say for a good start, just simply go to warzoneloadout.com, find what they call the absolute meta long range gun and the absolute meta close range, set up those attachments. What you don't like from there, start changing. If you feel like it has a little bit too much recoil, maybe change the rear stock from a movement stock that they might have on there to a recoil stock. Maybe take off high grain rounds and add in a rear stock or an underbarrel. It's going to help with recoil. That's where I would start because they get the guns right. I don't always agree with the attachments, but I think they're a lot better now than they were in Warzone 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I generally agree. Let's see. This is actually a great question from Process. How long are we at, by the way?
123.
Okay. Process asks, what makes a good map in Call of Duty multiplayer and in Warzone? This is a very good question. And it's hard to answer what makes a good map, but it's really easy to answer what makes a bad map. So you start by avoiding those things. So for example, in general, if you're making a COD multiplayer map, make it 3 lanes and it'll probably be fine. Like, that's a start. However, there are some really good maps in Call of Duty that are not 3 lanes that I really like. And why are those types of maps good maps? it's, I mean, I guess I could sort of tell you, but it's actually hard to say. I don't really know. I can't think of an example of a map that's not 3 lanes that I really like. Maybe Nuketown. That's kind of like a 2-lane map. Honestly, it is a 2-lane map. There's right and left. You can't really run through mid because there's the buses or like stuff in the middle. There's no mid on Nuketown.
Yeah, that's small
So it's
map.
like
It is a lot harder, I think, to answer what makes a good map. It's a lot harder than it sounds. It really is, because
it is hard. Yeah.
I think a lot of it, honestly, is just the overall look and feel of the map. Like, that's what it is for me personally. Like, Nuketown can be reskinned 10 different times. One version of it, like, I really like the BO4 version. I do not like every version of Nuketown, and there are a lot that I would not like. But like the BO4 version was perfect lighting, good visuals. It was vibrant, it was pretty, it was cute, and I think that goes into it a lot, honestly, more than people think. Just the look of everything. Not a lot of clutter too. They need to stop putting clutter on maps.
Yeah. So yeah, like, yeah, I guess this is kind of easy to make. So good visibility, so not a bunch of dark rooms. That's part of what makes a good map a good map. A good size, so not too big or small. That makes a good map. And that's not hard to do. What else? No really insane camping spots. So having outplay potential for every like location, that makes a good map. So like, I think, for example, in the original Nuketown, I'm not sure about this, but if you were in the second story of a house, the only way into that room was from below you, coming up the stairs and then walking in the one door. Whereas in later iterations of Nuketown, they recognized that makes that position way too strong. We're going to make it possible to get into that room from the front, like from mid. So there's like they added like jump ups basically. So like not having insane giga power positions, that's another thing that makes a good map. But like you could get all of that right and still have a pretty shit map, or at least like a middling map.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like, how do you elevate it from that to good? I don't know. You avoid, like I just said, all those obvious mistakes, but then you got to add something else. And I'm not really sure what that is exactly. Like, why is firing range my favorite map of all time? I mean, it's 3 lanes. It's a good size. The visibility's good. Okay. You can say that. You can say all of that about a lot of maps though. So why do I like firing range so much more than whatever slums? I really like slums actually. I don't know. Whatever. Pick a map. I don't really know. I don't know why I like it so much more, but I do.
It's hard to answer.
I just do. So it's really hard
Bro
to
just
answer.
does, yeah. That's simple.
Yeah. And there probably is a reason or a set of reasons why I do like that so much. Because people's favorite maps, like one person's favorite map tends to be a lot of people's favorite maps. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, firing range is their favorite map, or raid is their favorite map, or standoff is their favorite map.
Yeah. Yeah, most people don't think like Euphrates Bridge is the best map COD's ever
right,
designed.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, what do those maps have? I don't really know, but there probably is something. It's just hard to pick out for me anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway.
I think we're done.
We're done, huh?
It's feeling like we're done. We're caught up and out of the point where it's actually all gameplay questions. And actually, we don't have that many left. So we need you guys to go and ask more. Yeah. We only got like, I don't know, maybe 12 questions or so. 10 questions.
Yeah.
But we're on the gaming ones now. So
we are on the gaming ones. So yeah, go join the Discord. We have a gaming and COD related questions channel. You can ask whatever you want. You don't have to be a patron or anything. And with that, we are done. Yeah. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Once again, donate to the Dropshot Grieving and Mourning Fund. F's in the chat for Lokap, our dearly departed friend. And next week, we will be moving on. we're going to post our schedule for next week on Tuesday, maybe on Monday, Tuesday at the latest. And it's going to be different because COD Next is next week. And we're going to live stream that instead of a news pod. Be there live. It's going to be a gas. It's going to be real fun. I'm the Great Gatsby.
Got it. It's at like 9 a.m., right?
If you can't be there live, try and watch the video instead of listen. But if you can only listen or are only willing to listen, then you can do a listen. It'll be fine. What did you say?
It's at like 9 a.m., I believe, isn't it? 9 o'clock Pacific, maybe?
Yeah, whenever it is, I think it's 9 Pacific. Yeah, whenever it is, we will be live streaming it in
9
lieu of
a.m.
a news pod.
9 a.m. Pacific time. So we'll be live at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Wednesday.
Yes.
Probably.
And then we'll put that on apps and stuff. And then, yeah, our Saturday pod, whatever, is going to be normal. Thanks for watching and listening. Stay humble.
Stay humble.